Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific Northwest, from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The Mariners.
Los Marineros.
Los Bomberos.
Ooh. Cain, you got any good Spanish words? C. C.
C.
Gucci.
Nailed it. Nailed it. All right. Part two of the Super Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl squad. And we are going defense today. But before we hop into the episode, let's talk about us a little bit. And if you're looking for someone that's going to just wipe out someone coming across the middle, a big hitter, if you will, might be me, your boy, Coach Red. You can find me on Twitter at The Real Coach Red, on Instagram at The Real_Coach Red. While you're at it, hop on over to YouTube and check out Kicking It with Coach Red. Search by the name, search by at The Real Coach Red. Hit the bell notifications, thumbs up, comment, do it. If you're looking for someone that is going to have that speed on the perimeter, he's going to make fast people look not so fast. That's your boy, Lefty France.
What up, peeps? Follow me on Twitter at Lefty France, on Instagram at DFrance13. Go over and follow the pod on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Follow us. Do it.
And if you're looking for someone, maybe you want to drop fifth lineman down. Maybe you want to go in a bear front. Maybe you'd want to hit up Jer Bear, a.k.a. Killingcain. Where you at?
I hate you so much. Yeah, you can find me at Twitter and YouTube at Killingcain.
Shouldn't have been chirping during the intro, dog. I saw the snide look in your eye.
Oh, I was gonna say something with your football reference, but I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be a nice little brother today.
Well, we appreciate that, but one who's not going to be nice. This defense is going to be mean, and it is going to hit, and it is going to be lit. And if you missed the last episode, what we're going to do is we're going to take Seahawks that participated in a Super Bowl for the Seahawks at each position, give you the options. We'll tell you which one we pick. If there is a tie between all of us, which there was in the first episode, so good news there. So if there is a tie, we'll each pitch why we picked the player and try to get someone to sway to their team. But without much further ado, we are going to go to left defensive end first, and we've got Bryce Fisher, Brett Bryant, Michael Bennett. Lefty, where are you going?
I'm going with little hitter pads, Michael Bennett. If we're talking we want a mean defense, the first guy on this defense should be Michael Bennett. The guy absolutely was an animal. Terrifying dude. I want him on my defensive line right away.
And his play is still influencing guys like in the last Super Bowl, like Frank Clark, like jumping off sides really badly, at least once a game. Michael Bennett, classic. But no, let's not talk about one thing that they do, like holding and Breno Giacomini. Let's move on to the next.
Still salty.
Cain, who you going with?
I'm going with good old Moses Beard himself, Michael Bennett. The dude was an absolute workhorse. He could be finesse, he could be power, whatever you needed on that outside edge. And that is my pick. Dude was an absolute unit out there. Coach Red, who you taking?
I'm also going to go with Michael Bennett, and a little bit to do with the versatility. The dude could just get after the quarterback from the edge, but could also create pressure from the interior when they went into some of their sub packages. So if I'm looking for a defense, I want it to be multiple. I want to be able to run man zone, but I want to get after the quarterback. Michael Bennett was the best of the bunch at putting the quarterback into the ground. All right, next position, we've got left defensive tackle. We have Chartrick Darby or Tony McDaniels. McDaniel, no S on the end. My bad. Lefty, where are you going?
Singular. I'm going with Tony McDaniel. Um, honestly, couldn't remember who
Couldn't
he
pick him out of
was.
the lineup.
Yeah, had to look him up, but looking at his pictures, I do vividly remember this guy. Huge, massive man and mean MFer. Um, and that's what we want on this defense. We want mean guys, and he's just gonna fit right in there with Michael Bennett.
He already did.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Cain, where are you going?
I'm also going Tony McDaniel. Dude was key in our run stop that year. The whole defensive line kind of stopped the run all the time, and he was kind of the focus of it. So that is my pick, Coach Red. Who are you taking at?
Just one more clean sweep to start this thing. I'm also going with Tony McDaniel. This guy would stop running backs with one arm. You just put it out there, take him right to the ground. This is a guy that was picked up by the Seahawks, was just in the area, brought him in for a workout. Signs, ends up coming back the second year, 2-time starter, back-to-back Super Bowls. The guy was a force in the middle. And it's tough to, unless you're talking like Aaron Donald or these guys that get after the quarterback, you're looking for that run stuff in the middle. So we've already got a guy that can get after the passer. Let's stop the run. And I think that it's a big one by Tony McDaniels. McDaniel, God, did it again. Jeez.
You get on me for pronouncing things wrong.
Get it together.
Jeez.
Get it together. All right, let's try this now. Right defensive tackle. We've got Marcus Tubbs or Brandon Mebane.
Another hog, Brandon Mebane. Just another mean guy. I think I don't really remember Marcus Tubbs. But I do remember Brandon Mebane was a huge piece for our defensive line, so got to go with him.
Cain, where are you going?
I'm also hopping on the train with Brandon Mebane. He was, as he said, a dog, an animal, just crazy in the middle there. He could get some pressure on the quarterback and stop runs. Him and Tony McDaniel in the middle were just absolute monsters. That's the pick. Lock it in. Coach Red, where you at?
Well, on my defensive line, I didn't want all later Seahawks. And the one guy that I remembered making plays back in the day was Marcus Tubbs. The dude did create a little bit of pressure from the interior. It's also good at stopping the run. You got to have a good defensive line to do pretty well against the Steelers, which they played pretty well. The trickeration got them in the end with Antoine Randall L, but you had Jerome Bettis there pounding the rock, the bus, and he didn't have the best game in the world. And that was in part due to Marcus Tubbs. So give me Marcus Tubbs, insert him on this defense, but it's going to be Brandon Mebane for the group. All right, next we've got right defensive end. We've got Grant Wistrom, Chris Clemens, or Cliff Averill. Lefty, where are you going?
I'm going with Chris Clemens. Another mean guy. His black tinted visor was scary. Scary dude.
Terrifying.
And him coming on the edge, it's even scarier. The guy was huge, quick, athletic. Give me Chris Clemens.
Cain, where are you going?
This is the one that I'm absolutely torn on because on one hand, you had Chris Clemens, who was an absolute monster in that Super Bowl against Denver.
Yeah.
But you also have Cliff Averill, who's the ultimate finesse man. This is tough, but I have to go Cliff Averill. He's a fan favorite of the city as well. And I think that, we have all these mean guys out there. You need a little finesse in this. And Cliff Averill was a guy to get to the quarterback. Didn't matter who was guarding him. He found a way. If he got double teamed, he broke through coverages left and right. Dude was an absolute savage. Coach Red, who are you taking?
I'm going to go with Cliff Averill. And the reason I'm going to do that is because when you look at the Super Bowl, if you can get a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown, it highly brings up your chance of winning. In that Super Bowl against Denver, you had both pick six and a kickoff return to the Heasy by Percy Harvin. So with that, I want Cliff Averill because he was the king of the strip sack. Get after the quarterback, dislodge the ball. Turnovers will help win you games. And the Seahawks are pretty risk adverse when it comes to their offensive scheme. And I think that getting the ball back, short fields is key. Cliff Averill was probably the best player at the strip sack to ever play the game.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I think he's got more than anyone else in NFL history. And that's saying something because there have been some dudes out there that could get after the quarterback, but he had this innate ability to just go right after the ball instead of making the big hit on the quarterback, and it worked out more often than not. Give me that turnover. Give me Cliff Averill on this team.
Quick question. Didn't they throw in Chris Clemens on the inside and Cliff Averill on the outside in that Super Bowl too?
I believe that he was not on the team in this because they had that first year they went to the Super Bowl. They signed Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill to minimum deals. Chris Clemens wasn't playing nearly as much in that first Super Bowl because he was coming off the knee injury from the year before, where him and RG3 both tore up their knee at Washington's field. So he had lost a little bit of step, still get after the quarterback in that first year, but he was not with the team in Super Bowl 2 year, to the best of my knowledge.
I just thought I saw him on the field at the same time, and that's just a scary thought. So
that was it. That was in the first one. That was in the Denver.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, because they would put Cliff Averill and Clemens on the outside, move Bennett inside, and it was just
pure mayhem.
Go get Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning was scared.
All right, now we're going to go to left side linebacker. We've got Jamie Sharper or Bruce Irvin. Who are we going with, Lefty?
I got Bruce Irvin. Just the defense at that time was so crazy good. Bruce Irvin was a huge piece to the defense as well, and not much else to say. He was a mean guy too.
Cain, where are you going?
I'm also going Bruce Irvin, just for the sole fact is that was the Legion of Boom. And another thing, you could throw him on the line and he could finesse his way to the quarterback, or he could be laying hay in the middle of the field. Bruce Irvin was an absolute animal. I mean, he showed it when he came back. This year, he still had some kick in him, but the dude was a dog and an absolute menace. And we want this mean roster. Well, Bruce Irvin is one of the meanest mother frickers out there. Coach Red, who you taking here?
Good job at censoring yourself. I'm proud. Proud dad moment.
Thanks.
All right. I'm also going to go with Bruce Irvin, and it's a little bit about what both you guys talked about. He could get after the quarterback. He could hit people in the middle. But where he brings extra value to me is he could also drop into coverage and play pretty well. Had a couple of picks in his career. I believe he even had a pick six. He was a guy that was looked at as a reach when he was drafted in the same class as Russell and Bobby when he was picked 15th overall. And he shed a lot of that. He's a physical freak. He, one time in college, got in trouble because he kicked a Jimmy John sign off of a car. Jumped up, spinning kick, kicked a sign off of a car. The dude is a physical freak, and he showed that by being able to play that linebacker as a true edge rush linebacker in the NFL is right now. Can drop into coverage, can get after the quarterback. Give me that versatility to add to the meanness, the finesse, everything that we've got going on this team. Bruce Irvin, lock it in. So this one, I think I know where we're all going, but this was probably, besides Marshawn Lynch and Sean Alexander, probably the closest battle on the entire team.
Yeah.
You've got Lofa Tatupu or Bobby Wagner at middle linebacker. Lefty, where are you going?
I'm going Bobby Wagner. The guy had so many tackles, was always all over the field. Captain of the defense, just the glue to the whole defense, really. And that's what we need on this defense right now. So we're going with Bobby.
Cain, where are you going?
I'm also gonna go Bobby. I wouldn't per se he was the glue because we'll get to the glue later in the episode. Um, but he was young in those first two Super Bowls, so it wasn't really his team, but he was so outstanding from his pick. Nobody kind of saw it coming. Bobby Wagner is the ultimate linebacker for this team. Yes, Lofa Tatupu was great. Don't get me wrong, that's one of the names that I remember from back in the day, from being just a little kid. Dude was an animal, but Bobby was a different breed. Single besides Jordan Brooks now. I mean, Bobby set the record for tackles for the team, and he did it, year in, year out. And he didn't let people mow him over. Dude's an absolute animal. Coach Red, who you taking?
Here's the crazy thing. In the 05 Super Bowl, Lofa Tatupu was a rookie. In the back-to-back Super Bowls, Bobby Wagner, second and third year in the league. So you had young bucks just patrolling the middle. I'm going to go with Bobby Wagner because by year 2, he had a C on his chest. The dude had the headset. He's getting the calls. He's orchestrating that defense. He's the coach on the field. And you had some guys, you had Hall of Fame talent all around him, but they're in that huddle, and him at that point in time, he wasn't letting the plays come to him. He was attacking at the line of scrimmage early in his career, and that's something where he still mowed up the tackles later in his career. But point of contact, he was one of the main reasons why this run defense was so good. I mean, this whole team was so good in those back-to-back years. It was a no-fly zone, and you had the top scoring defense back-to-back years. I mean, it was insane, and Bobby Wagner, super key piece of that, so he's getting the call in the middle for me. All right. Right linebacker. We got Leroy Hill, KJ Wright. Lefty, where are you going?
KJ Wright. Another, great linebacker for us. Just a perfect fill-in guy that is gonna go make plays wherever he can. So yeah, I'm going with KJ Wright.
Cain.
I'm also going KJ Wright. The dude was so talented. He was an absolute athlete. And maybe once or twice a year, you saw KJ Wright absolutely demolish a dude. So KJ Wright's my pick. Coach Red, who we taking?
I'm also going with KJ Wright, but I'm going with his pass coverage skills. There was a lot of times over the course of his career where he was tasked with locking down elite tight ends from the linebacker squad. And, this later in his career came off of injury against the Cowboys, just an immaculate pick in the red zone. He could stay sticky. He could lay the hammer, could help out in run defense. But when we're talking about young Bobby attacking, you got Bruce Irvin flying around the field. You got guys can get after it. I want another guy that I trust really well in pass coverage besides my back four in the secondary. So give me KJ Wright, because I think he complements this defense extremely well.
Agree with that.
All right. Left cornerback. Got Jordan Babineau or Richard Sherman. All right. Lefty, who you got?
It's gonna be a shocker. Richard Sherman. He was just a smart cornerback and was locked down really, and a great trash talker. Love to see. He's one of the guys that you love to have on your team, but if he's on a different team, you hate the guy. And we were fortunate enough to have him on our team, so I'm keeping him on our team as long as I can.
Cain, where are you going?
Back in the day, I remember Jordan Babineau's name. I thought it was like a dope name, and I'm pretty sure he's really good too.
Yeah,
but I don't think you could beat out Richard Sherman. The dude led the league in interceptions. He was absolutely locked down. Not to mention, to get us to that second Super Bowl, he put Crabtree in his place. Or no, that was the first Super Bowl. That's the first one because he tipped it and Malcolm Smith caught the ball. But,
Oh,
you know, he was the ultimate competitor with his time with the Seahawks and just love me some Sherman. Coach Red, who you taking?
Don't try me with the sorry cornerback like Jordan Babineau. It's Richard Sherman, aka Dick Sherman. The dude was just phenomenal. I mean, if you look at the start of the second run to the Super Bowl, they end up playing Green Bay Packers week 1. Aaron Rodgers is in town, and he did not target Richard Sherman once the entire game. If you're looking for a true lockdown corner, you had Revis Island, and then after that, the next guy was Richard Sherman.
yeah.
The dude was absolute nails in coverage, former wide receiver, Stanford grad, super smart, knew when to play. I think you see a little bit of that with Tariq Woolen. He had the athletic ability, but wasn't necessarily the fastest guy out on the field, but could bait quarterbacks into making throws where they were looked like high probability at the time, and his angles, his routes to go knock the ball down, get in the throwing lanes was something that is really rare to see in the NFL. And he did it, was one of the best.
And also, he was a wide receiver turned cornerback.
Yeah.
So that's
Nailed it.
pretty neat too.
Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to go to the other cornerback. We've got the right cornerback. We've got Marcus Trufant, Brandon Browner, and Byron Maxwell. Lefty, where are you going?
I'm going with Marcus Trufant. He was just a legend for the Seahawks. Also a Washington State legend. And he had good speed and was really athletic, honestly. And that's what we need on the outside. So I'm going with Marcus Trufant.
Cain, where are you going?
Get those other 2 Legion of Boom guys out of here. Give me Marcus Trufant.
Yeah.
Dude was an absolute savage. Best ball hawk I've ever seen. Dude was electric.
You just got done telling me Richard Sherman.
Hey, wait your turn. Wait your turn. Be happy that I'm going old school here because Marcus Trufant was my favorite player back in the day. Dude was locked down. As you said, he was fast. I mean, what more could you ask for? Coach Red, who are you taking with this pick?
Let's get a Go Cougs going because it's Marcus Trufant.
Yes, sir.
And he was the playmaker for this team. He was the guy that could change the game for you. He was tasked with taking on the number 1 wide receiver. I mean, Byron Maxwell and Brandon Brander give you very different looks, but if you're looking for like one of the best athletes, that was Marcus Trufant. Browner was just a physical beast.
Yeah.
And Brian Maxwell really blossomed into a good player after Browner left. But for the longest tenure and the highest level of play and just the perfect guy to put opposite of Richard Sherman is Marcus Trufant. If you had both of these guys in their Super Bowl years, welcome to the no-fly zone, 100%.
Yeah.
Get ready to enter the Thunderdome.
Yeah. All right. Next, we are going to the free safety, and we've got Marquand Manuel or Earl Thomas. Lefty, where are you going?
Got to go with Earl Thomas. He was a huge hitter from Texas. I remember when we drafted him, it was high. He was getting hyped up, and he lived up to the hype. He was a huge hitter, great safety for us. His later career, meh, but in the seasons that they went to the Super Bowl, he was a huge piece to our defensive backs. So Earl Thomas.
Cain, where you going?
This may not be PG, but we're gonna high five in the middle. With him and his brother, Earl Thomas. You know what I'm talking about. He was the absolute center fielder for this Hawks team. The dude could fly from sideline to sideline in a blink of an eye. Excellent cover safety, could lay hay. Dude was an absolute unit, and he is my pick for the free safety position. Coach Red, where you at?
I'm also going to go with Earl Thomas. You couldn't get over the top of him. When you're talking about a true center fielder, plus he had ball ability, and the dude could lay hat. I mean, they didn't call it the Legion of good center fielders that could also catch the ball. They called it the Legion of Boom. And there were two safeties at the time. And it was like the Bash Bros out there. It's like we were in Mighty Ducks 2 taking on the Russian team, and these guys were out
Good
there
Russians.
just cleaning clocks. And Earl Thomas, for his time with the Seahawks, ball hawk supreme. I mean, probably the best ball hawk in the secondary out of the safety position that we've ever had. So, followed not too far behind by Quandre Diggs. He's making his way. All right. Last position on the field, we've got strong safety. We've got Michael Boulware or Cam Chancellor. Lefty, where are you going?
Bam Bam Cam. Just a absolute beast. Huge hitter. Vernon Davis is still scared of him. I'm sure he still has nightmares of him when he sleeps at night. But God, that guy hit so hard. He was so fun to watch. Like, I feel like he really changed not changed the game, but
I think
made
he
it.
did change the game.
He was a huge piece to the Hawks and the NFL, really, like, huge hitter. So Bam Bam Cam.
Cain, where are you going?
Give me the scariest man to ever step on the field outside of Sean Taylor. Give me the enforcer, Cam Chancellor. As you said, Vernon Davis had nightmares after that hit. Nobody wanted to go over the middle because they knew Cam was lurking there. And suck it, Cam Newton. He returned a 98-yard return, pick 6 on you. So, dude is hands down one of my favorite players to ever don the uniform. Also, best little brother award right here because I think I got that guy a Cam Chancellor jersey one time, and the dude was terrifying.
Yeah,
terrifying. Coach Red, who you got?
Easy, Michael Boulware.
Oh,
Kidding.
boy.
We're going Cam Chancellor.
Oh my God, it's the shock of the century.
We're going Cam Chancellor here. And I know you guys keep talking about the Vernon Davis hit, but in the Super Bowl against the Broncos, first play from scrimmage, safety goes over Peyton Manning's head. Their second series, it's 3rd and 8. Demaryius Thomas
RIP.
coming across the middle and set the record for most catches in that game. First ball he catches comes across the middle, and Cam Chancellor blasts him, and he goes back 5 yards before he hits the ground. There was that much force, and it set the tone for the rest of the game. It really did. And that's what Cam Chancellor could do. And yeah, he changed the game because after he actually started rolling with the Seahawks, everyone was trying to draft the next Cam Chancellor. You look at guys like Keanu O'Neal, Jonathan Abrams, Jamal Adams. These are guys that are in the mold of a Cam Chancellor, and people have been searching for a guy that can lay the hat, but people ought to forget how good he was in coverage. You brought up pick 6 against Cam Newton, but he was always good for 3 to 4 picks a year. And if I'm getting that out of my strong safety, who also obliterates anyone, go ahead and give me Cam Chancellor.
I could watch Cam Chancellor highlights all day long.
So, quick rundown of our defense. We've got Michael Bennett, Tony McDaniel, Brandon Mebane, Cliff Averill, Bruce Irvin, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Richard Sherman, Marcus Trufant, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor. So basically,
Legion of Boom.
Everyone from the back-to-back years except we insert Marcus Trufant.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Who do we have to lead those? Let's get our defense coordinator. So we've got John Marshall / Ray Rhodes. They were co-defensive coordinators in 2005. Or we've got Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. I mean, he led the defense to a few Super Bowls. Then he went and led the Falcons to a Super Bowl that they should have won as a head coach. And
Hey, the script said different.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. The NFL Goodell said, "Not today, sir."
Wasn't in the script.
Yeah, but I gotta go with Dan Quinn. He's proved that he can lead teams to Super Bowls, win them. So gotta go with him.
Cain, where are you going?
I'm also going with one of the greatest defensive minds in football, Dan Quinn. As Lefty said, he led a team to the Super Bowl 3 times with the defense. Let's not forget that Marcus's little brother was on that Falcons one, and he was just as fantastic. But with the Seahawks, he had so many versatile players at every position that impacted the defense so much in stopping runs, stopping passes, interceptions, fumbles, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. Dan Quinn is just a mastermind. I mean, you've seen it everywhere he goes. The Seahawks defense was number 1 in the league for multiple years under his helm. The Falcons had a top 5 defense, and not to mention the Cowboys have been probably number 1 or number 2 in the regular season for the last 2 years. They've been very, very good. I mean, you can't doubt the dude. He's had success everywhere he's gone. So Dan Quinn is the ultimate defensive coordinator for this team if they want to win a Super Bowl. Coach Red, who you taking?
Well, I mean, the whole team, I don't want to change the message they're getting. I mean, basically, this whole team was coached by Dan Quinn.
True.
And what you see out of Dan Quinn at all of his stops, when he has talented players, he puts them in the best position to succeed. So he takes every bit of talent, puts it on the field, puts his best foot forward, and really just knows how to get them to gel together. Because we talked about his team, there's a ton of personalities on this defense. And Dan Quinn was the guy that everyone looked to and respected in a lot of spots. And you look at Atlanta when they had their fizzle, they came back to save his job and won like 4 games where he kept it before he was fired the following year. So people love playing for the guy. So if we're going to put someone in charge of this defense, I want someone that they would love to follow. And I would love you to follow us on social media.
Yeah.
You can hop on over to Twitter and follow me at The Real Coach Red, on Instagram at The Real _ Coach Red. Hop on over to YouTube, hammer the notifications, likes, thumbs up, comment. Why don't you? You can find that Kicking It with Coach Red, or search the @ which is at The Real Coach Red. Lefty, where you at?
Follow me on Twitter at Lefty France, on Instagram at DFrance13. Follow the pod on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Follows. Do it, freaking do it.
Cain, where you at?
You find me on Twitter and YouTube at Killingcain.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.